There is nothing more frustrating in life than to work so hard to make something work, and then when it's almost time for you to see its success, it scatters and you have to start all over again. If this happens over and over, then it means that there's a pattern that you have to take note of. And this is what we call the near success syndrome. And so many of us are experiencing this challenge in our lives. And if this is you, and if you have noticed that you always get very close to success but never attain it, then this is the right video for you. And I believe that by the end of this video, God is going to open your understanding and give you the right keys to stepping out of this particular syndrome. Hello, my name is Pankword, and this is the Pankword Teaching Hub. Here we believe that the Word of God flourishes us. And so I believe that whatever we share with you here is going to promote your growth and your walk with the Lord Jesus Christ. If this video blesses you, I want to say thank you by subscribing to the channel and recommend it to others. Like the video so that others can also see it on their timeline. Let's get right into the word.
You are listening to the Pankword teaching.
Near success syndrome is like leaving your phone plugged in at night to charge, only to wake up to realize that your battery is still at 10%. It's like putting your all into something, hoping that this one is going to work for you. You have rest assured of its success, but at the end of the day, it fails and you have to start all over again. I want to share with you some signs that will show or indicate that you are experiencing near success syndrome in your life. One of the signs that will tell you that you are experiencing near success syndrome is the inability to harness your potential. The desire is within you. You have all it takes to get this done, but you cannot reach that full potential. So you are at the okay level. I mean, it's manageable. We need someone to play drums. Oh yeah, he can play drums. But to take you to a very big platform, it's a no. You see, you are at the level where they cannot really recommend you for a higher position. If it's just a low level, they will say, fine, you can fit in because the one we are expecting is not available. You have become that person they fall on if the one they expect to really take on a task is not available. So we have a lot of musicians today who are doing their best and recording songs and writing lyrics and all of that. But they are at that point where they cannot really harness the full potential within them. So they try all they can, but the success is not there. You have people who are experiencing the start and abandon syndrome. They are able to start a project, make it work, but as it's growing and is about to maximize, as it's about to hit the international level, then they have to abandon the project because something happens that contradicts the flow of their progress. You know, Jacob was a farmer and he had a lot of sheep that he was taking care of, but an incident happened and he had to flee his father's house and leave everything he was doing. He went to his father-in-law's house, and there too he was growing the farm, everything was working well. When it reached a certain point, he had to flee again. So there are people who are like that. They start working on something, as it's getting bigger and is about to stand and explode, then something happens and they have to abandon the project and go and start all over again. The third sign, there are those who are also having the shadow syndrome, and this is the lack of recognition. No matter how brilliant they are, no matter how excellent they are at what they do, they are never recognized for what they do. They never get the recognition they deserve. This is a sign of near success syndrome. The next sign is praise without reward. There are people who are very good at what they do and they are always praised, but there is no reward for what they do. If there is a promotion, there is a contract, it's never awarded to them. It always goes to the next best person. It always goes to the next best company. They never receive the reward for their hard work. No matter how hard or smart they work, there is no reward. It's just the praise. So you find certain people going for interviews and the promotion goes to somebody else, even though it is said that they are very good, they've done well. Another sign is the sign of emptiness. These are people who are dealing with forces that empty them. What do I mean? You see, they work very hard, they work very smart. They are not lazy people, but there is no fruit to show for their labor. They wake up very early and come home very late. They are very prompt in their response to work, but they have no money, they have no assets, they have no resources to show for all the work that they do. They are living from hand to mouth always. Even if they change their jobs, They are never able to sit on a higher table where they have more than enough to even do others good. Of course, there are other signs. If you write one paper multiple times, you are experiencing a near success syndrome. One other sign I can share with you regards people who plan marriages, who plan their weddings, and there are events unforeseen that keep happening that postpone the date of the marriage. I remember years ago, a lady approached me that she has planned wedding with her fiancé about 5 times, and every time the date is approaching, a major family event occurs or something beyond their control happens and they have to postpone their wedding. And she feels like now the attention of the man is drifting gradually away from her. And so we began to pray about it, and the next date they said there were a lot of events that were supposed to happen, but by the mercies of God they were all cancelled, and she had her wedding done as she expected. This is a sign of near success syndrome. There is one more, but I don't know how to really classify it. I went for a program in Accra, and I took a boat to where I was lodging, and the driver began to share some experiences with me. He said he came to Accra not as a driver but actually as a banker, and the bank he used to work with collapsed, and so he decided to apply to a different bank. During the interview, they asked him why he left his previous employment, and he said, "Oh, I was transferred to Accra by this bank, and then the government policies that came up collapsed the bank, so I need to work in a new place. That's why I'm here." I'm sure he put it in a better way than I am expressing. And they said to him, "So what if we employ you and our bank collapses?" So I asked the driver, "So what shows that you were the reason for the bank collapsing?" And he said, "Yes, I asked them that, and they said, well, where I'm coming from, the business did not stand. So what if I bring that here?" See, because of a previous challenge, this thing has affected him where he was going. And this is just to say that there are people who have left certain relationships, left certain jobs, left certain places, and the effect of what happened there is affecting where they are going or even where they are today. All of these signs are near success syndromes. They indicate that you are very close to attaining what you are looking for, but you never lay your hands on it. You pass the interview, you make a very wonderful presentation for the contract, but it never falls into your hand. And this keeps repeating itself. But not to worry. Although this is a challenging problem, you don't need to worry, because we serve a God who is able to fix what is broken in our lives. And I believe that what I'm going to share with you today is going to open your eyes and also help you to step out of this syndrome. Near success syndrome works with no success syndrome. If you are near success, you have no success. This is like a principle of God that says that unless you give God absolute obedience, you are in total disobedience. I believe you are familiar with the story of Saul and how he did not absolutely obey the Lord, and God told him that he had absolutely disobeyed him. He did some of what he was told to do, but not all of what he was told to do. Near success syndrome is as a result of a missing element in us. Jacob was missing a name that resonated with what was recognized in heaven. So here are some things that you can do if you experience these challenges in your life. The very first thing you have to do is to recognize what the problem is. How is it affecting your life, or how is it making manifest in your life? Now, if you beat this particular challenge, this syndrome, you need to pray for divine speed. Near success syndrome introduces delay in your life. Something that can be achieved at once, you have to repeatedly make attempts at achieving that particular thing. So you need to pray for divine speed. Number 2, pray for revelation concerning your identity. Who are you in the realm of the spirit? Bible tells us that Jabez was more honorable than all his brothers. But the challenge with Jabez was that there was an element of pain in his life. Benjamin would have suffered a similar fate, because when his mother was dying, she gave him a name that would cause him to live in pain all the days of his life. But his father saw this and immediately discerned that no, my son is bearing a name that does not match his spiritual identity, and instantly gave him a different name. So the Lord made Jacob and also asked him, "Jacob, what is your name?" And he said, "My name is Jacob." Now there is a reason for that name, and he said that no, checking the database of heaven, the name that matches your identity is not Jacob. So he said, "From today you shall be called Israel." I am not asking you to change your name, but I'm asking you to find who you are, because your name identifies who you are. The next action is to let your name match your character. God can bless you and open doors for you. But if you don't have a character that matches the name the Lord is appointing to you, you are going to be an embarrassment to yourself and to the Lord. There are so many of us praying for an opportunity to open unto us. We are praying that God will lift us up, but we have not prepared in terms of character for that particular position. Let me throw a question at you. If you get $1 million right now, what are you going to do with that money? How is your spiritual life going to be? Have you ever made time off to think about this? Next, I want you to identify the areas in your life where the weakness has manifested. How have you been affected by this particular syndrome? And what are the things that this weakness thrives on to affect your life? For example, if you are always failing at maths, check what is within this mathematics that makes you fail. Why do you miss certain steps? Why are you always wrong? When you identify what is making you wrong all the time, you can take your time to gradually develop it or find a solution to it, because God will give you the grace, but you also need to know how to use that grace to step out of this syndrome. So identify what the weakness is and begin to develop yourself intentionally, gradually in that particular area. Next, I want you to track your progress and events. Every small thing you do, every small achievement, record it. This will let you know how you started and where you've got into. And if you are doing something right or you are witnessing some improvements in your life. And as you are doing this, the next thing I want you to do is to celebrate small wins, as this is going to boost your faith and keep you in constant alignment with what you are desiring to see in your life. Last but one step is to keep a positive attitude. Don't think it will fail again as usual. Don't think you will fail these exams again as usual. Don't think that this relationship will not work as usual. Don't think that this business will also fail as usual. And when you begin to see the previous signs, don't think that this is also going to end up just like it has always ended up. You are building something, and understand that there are going to be challenges. It may not happen at once. For some of us, by making these prayers and following these steps, we are going to step into our liberation. But for some of us too, we have to continuously fight. So the last point I want to give you, aside keeping this positive attitude, I want you to keep fighting the fight of faith. This is a battle and a war. You have to win every battle until the war is won. Listen, it's a fight of faith. It may not happen for you overnight, but as you keep your faith alive and constantly believe that God is doing something in your life, He has started something good in your life and He will complete it, and you believe that your relationship is not going to be like the previous ones, even though the signs of disaster are fast approaching, you are believing the Lord that He will snatch you out of this near success syndrome. God is going to honor His word and your faith, and I believe that you are going to be a witness to God's good works. God bless you for sticking with me to the end of this video. If this has really blessed you, kindly subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and leave in the comment section any questions you have or what you have learned. What is your take home from this video? Which part of it blessed you? Leave it in the comment section. Let's have a conversation. Like this video and share it. Tell others about this channel. Let's keep it growing, and may the Lord bless you and hear your prayer. Thank you for watching.